To prepare for this video, I spent the previous 5 minutes creating a landing page design with HTML and CSS. It looks so simple and boring, but when using scroll animation technique, this will be the result we get. Scroll animation technique is a difficult technique. It requires the user to control when each animation starts and ends when the user scrolls the page, as well as the ability to reverse the animation when the user scrolls the page backwards. Therefore, most of the use of this technique depends on JavaScript. But today, we will use this technique with CSS only. Not only can we solve this technique simply, we will be able to do much more. If you find this video interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to watch more interesting videos about web design and programming. Thank you very much, everyone. Now let's get started. Here I have a normal landing page. Don't worry, because you can use the following animation tutorial on any website you have. In the scroll animation technique, there are basically 3 types. We will learn about the first type. This is the type of animation that takes place throughout the user scrolling the page. The element to which this animation is assigned will move continuously until it can no longer be seen on the screen. I'm going to apply it to this image. So for this image in HTML, I assign it a class AutoRotate. That's all. The rest is CSS's job. Which element when declared in class AutoRotate? It will run an animation called AutoRotate animation. Specifically, the task of this animation is to rotate the element from 0 degrees to 360 degrees. Obviously, if that's the case, the animation won't work, because usually animation will require us to declare the time that animation takes place, right? But with an animated scroll, it won't work like that, because the animation time depends on how fast the user scrolls the page. Here I will declare animation timeline with the value of function view and try running the website again. And it worked. The principle is as follows. When the user scrolls the page to a position where this element can be seen, then imagine the height of the screen has a value ranging from 0% to 100%. At the moment the element starts at 0%, that's when it runs the animation, with the initial value being rotate 0 degrees. And when this element approaches the line position of 100%. This is also when the animation is completed with a rotation value of 360 degrees. And when we scroll the page backwards, this animation will automatically be reversed. The second type of scroll animation is for important content on the page, and it's also one of the most popular types. The characteristic of this type is that when the user scrolls the page to its area, it will run an animation to display in the middle of the screen. Then it will have to stand still so the user can read this content. In this example, the headings as well as the paragraphs are the target for using that animation. So let's start first with the title content. For this title, I assigned an AutoShow class to highlight the scroll animation. Any element that has the AutoShow class will have an animation called AutoShow animation. This animation will create the following movement. Initially, we will hide it with opacity 0. Move it down a bit with translate, then scale it with scale. When the animation is complete, I show it up with opacity 1 and return it to its original position and size. For this animation to work when the user scrolls, of course we will also have to declare the animation timeline view. If written like that, of course the animation will run, right? However, the moment the animation completes is also the moment it leaves the screen, so we cannot clearly see the content. In fact, the view function has 2 values allowed to be passed in. The first parameter is used to specify the position at which the animation should complete. For example, I set it here to 40%. You would imagine it like this. Our height has a length from 0% to 100%. We take 100%, 40% will equal 60%. Now, right at this position will be the position where the animation completes. The tube is so small that from this position onwards we will see the content clearly. So let's try using the second parameter as well. The second parameter is used to reflect the position at which this animation will be started. That is, it does not necessarily start at 0% position as default. For example, I set it here to 30%. So in this case it's much simpler. Initially, the element will not animate until it is moved to a position 30% of the screen. Only then will it start running the animation. That is, its starting position is the 30% milestone. It will move to the 60% position, then the animation is complete. However, as you can see, we have a problem that before the element is moved to the 30% position, If it hasn't run the animation yet, we'll already see it by default. To solve this problem, we just need to add both to the animation. Its use in animation is that if the animation is delayed, then before running the animation it will take the values in the from part of the animation as the default values. Thanks to that, initially when the animation is not running we will not see it because it has been assigned opacity 0 of the from area. And a word of advice, when working with scroll animations with CSS, just add both from the beginning in most cases. Usually in projects, 70% and 5% are considered the most suitable positions. So I have created scroll animation for important types of content. Now I just need to add this auto show class to other important content elements so it can also perform this animation. And this is exactly what I want. I just need to create a single animation, then apply it to different elements. So now we come to the third type of scroll animation. This is the type of animation used with typical content pieces that users want to notice. That is, it will also have to be clearly displayed when it moves to the middle of the screen like the second type. But the difference is that after leaving the central position, it will fade again to make room for other prominent content to shine. I'll apply it to this featured text. First, in HTML, I assign the AutoBlur class to the text paragraphs. In CSS, any element with the AutoBlur class declared will run the AutoBlur animation. Use Animation Timeline View to make the animation run while scrolling. Specifically, this animation will work as follows. In the initial state, when this animation starts running, use the blur filter with a value of 40 pixels to dim it. When the animation is completed, it will return the blur to 0 so we can see it more clearly. Then it will look like this. This is how to move the first type of animation scroll that we learned earlier. So if we apply the technique of the second type, that is, if we want these texts to stand out in the middle of the frame, we just need to set the time the animation ends to be 50%, that is, in the middle of the screen. Now we can see it clearly. But what I'm aiming for is that it should blur when it goes out of the center of the frame. But if the animation has ended at this position, then we won't be able to do anything more. I have a better way. Let the function view return to its original state, meaning the animation will run from 0% to 100%. In the animations, I changed from to 0% to 100%, but this time blur also has a value of 40% to blur. So where is the time when we need to display it most clearly? It is the time it takes to move to the 45% to 55% position. Right at this moment, the element will enter the center of the screen. I will change its blur value to 0 so it can be seen clearly. There is a note in these cases: to ensure the distance between positions is even, add linearity to the animation. And it worked. Through this method, people will be able to create countless animations at any time they want in any location. It's easy, isn't it? This way we can easily create countless scroll animations without having to do much in complicated calculations like JavaScript. Finally, usability across different browsers. This is a new property of CSS that is being researched, tested, and developed, and we are the ones testing it. Because of that, there will still be some browsers that are not supported yet. Of course, this is only a matter of time until the research process is completed. Through that, we can also see that CSS is improving day by day with outstanding functions, solving extremely difficult problems with JavaScript with just a few short lines of CSS code. I feel very happy about that. If you find my video interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to watch many interesting videos about programming and web design. And don't forget to leave a comment to share your thoughts or suggest content for the next video. Thank you very much, everyone. See you in the next video.